Well, good morning. I think it's morning. Was anyone out late last night like the foolish presenter was? Raise your hands or don't admit it. First off, we're here on the last day of DevOps on Friday. I can't believe this week has gone by so fast. I can't believe we're celebrating 20 years of DevOps. That is a phenomenal milestone, and it's a testament not just for the event, but what this event represents, which is Java and other technologies that are built around Java. But Java isn't just a language and a platform. And I was actually honored that the DevOps leadership invited me to come and talk about, for me, one of the most important dimensions of Java, which is the community. You give life to this phenomenal technology. It has profoundly shaped our careers. I know it's shaped mine. And I want to share a little bit about what community can do in terms of moving Java forward. So there's been a plethora of technical talks since Monday. I encourage you to go watch those. Those are extremely useful, and there's more that are being recorded today, even after this session. But today is all about understanding how the community can help move Java forward. So if you're looking for code, this is not the session. If you want some code, you're welcome to quietly exit. I apologize if that's what you are looking for. But I really want to focus on you, what you can do, what we collectively can do to make sure the future of Java looks amazing for the next generation. And if you'd like, feel free to follow me on Twitter. Can I say Twitter? Are we allowed to? Yes. Xter, Twixter. It's still called twitter.com, but if you would like to keep in touch, my DMs are open. I'm always open to taking questions, feedback. How can I help you? The role I've been in for I'm going to admit it now publicly, for 23 years has been to lead the Java community, and it is a humbling and daunting task. I try to make as many connections as I can and try to help you as best I can. But before we start, Halloween is a pretty big thing here in at least in the United States. I hope it's popular in other parts of the world. But we had one of our developers on the Java team create Spooky Duke. And so I'm just giving you a little bit of a forward-looking image that we're going to start using a little bit in the next couple of months. And I would like, if you have your devices or your tablets or your phones, if you're on X or Twitter, use the hashtag SpookyDuke when you see Spooky Duke in one of the upcoming slides. Take a picture of the slide, hashtag it with Spooky Duke, and what will two people potentially receive? I have 2 Java coins here that were minted. These are worth more than Bitcoin. These are priceless heirlooms. And so at the end of the session, I'm going to find, and you have to be here, so please don't leave. If I find your tweet, you will get a Java coin, and I hope you keep it in your pocket like I do. I keep mine no matter where I go. It's that priceless to me. So let's just move a little bit forward. Let's just reflect for a second. It's sometimes hard to imagine that Java has been around for 28 years. And I'm just going to take a poll right here, and if you could just bear with me for a moment. May I ask everyone just to stand up for a moment? I have a couple of questions that I'd like to ask. Okay, so if you've been using Java for at least 5 years, remain standing? Oh, wow, fantastic. This is great. If you've been using Java for at least 10 years, remain standing. Oh, okay. Let me shift it a little bit. If you've been using Java for 15 years, still a lot of people standing up. This is great. Here's where it goes interesting. If you've been using Java for 20 years, at least 20 years, remain standing. Not many sat down. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now this is going to be the interesting one. If you've been using Java for at least 25 years, okay. And if you've been using Java for 28 years.
Thank you for making me feel old.
Well, may I welcome you to the club? So where were those 3 individuals that had been using Java for at least 25 years? Please stand up again. Those 3, we owe them a round of applause. I mean, these are people that I will say myself have learned from as well. And hopefully maybe you can do this talk next year. Okay. And what's transpired over those 28 years? An amazing journey of innovation. And I have never been prouder in terms of the pipeline of innovation that's in Java that I've at least seen over the last 5 years. We've looked at things like Project Amber. We were seeing things coming out of Project Panama. We just saw virtual threads get launched as part of Java 21. These are fundamentally important dimensions and projects that we're working on. And it is very encouraging when I see that, and when I see how many people are, actively using Java, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 15, or 25. We have a very healthy population, and it's our responsibility, it's our collective responsibility to make sure that those who follow behind us have a technology that's solid, stable, and useful for the next 28 years and beyond. It's important to give you a little bit of insight in what we have to sometimes do on the Java team. And this is an important dimension that we don't often talk about enough, because a day doesn't go by where my Twitter DM box or my email box or my SMS has a message, Shar or Brian or Stuart Marks, we will get messages. Why can't you do X? Why aren't you doing Y? I need that specific feature for what I'm trying to do. And it doesn't mean we can't do that type of innovation. But when you have a history of 28 years, we have to be very thoughtful. Now, a very eccentric individual said, move fast and break things. I don't want to quote his name because it makes my skin crawl. You might know who he is. But that statement, move fast and break things, goes against everything that the Java team has been built upon. We have done innovation thoughtfully. We say internally, move thoughtfully and build things. Now, building doesn't mean not breaking. It means not breaking as much. And so there's this tension sometimes the environment and developers like you sometimes see. Why isn't Java moving faster? Or why is Java moving so slow? And it's because we have to keep these 2 sides of the scale in balance. All of you have an application at your enterprise or at home or as a project that has started somewhere in that journey of Java from either version 1.0, hopefully you're not on that anymore, God. And which, by the way, I still find some people that are on 1.4, 1.5, 1.6. It's like, come on, move along. But we need to make sure we don't impact that notion of backwards compatibility. So what do? We assess the market. We definitely look at what other languages are doing. And sometimes, Brian Getz has an interesting quote, which I love using, which is, we have last leader advantage. We're not trying to be the coolest thing or the shiniest thing. We're trying to be the most stable thing that offers incremental innovation. And so we do this with that thoughtful approach. We know chipsets change, we know memory footprint changes, we know design styles and development styles change. We have to keep all of those in balance, and we know that puts a target on our backs. We absolutely do. Some of you have given us that feedback. Go faster. But in speed, sometimes you can be reckless, and so what we want to do is be thoughtful. And what did that thoughtfulness get us? It got us to these numbers. I don't show this enough. And I need to do more of this, because this is something all of you need to have a feeling of pride and passion about, because you created these numbers, not just Oracle, not just the Java team, not just those legacy individuals from Sun where I started. And how did we do that? Those principles of development that started 28 years ago are the same principles we design Java with today. That's how important those things are. Trust. Trust meaning we will deliver what we commit to. Now, I know there was a gray period there, maybe between Java 6 and Java 7, and what were we doing, and why weren't we delivering as best we could, and why wasn't it stable? And there was some churn, but we need to earn your trust by committing to the things we now deliver. Innovation. Innovation meaning assessing the marketplace, right? There is probably no single instance enterprise on the planet that isn't using Java somewhere in their enterprise. Small, medium, or large, across all various industries, we see Java being utilized. And we have to account for all of that, whether you're doing AI or ML or all the big data projects that are out there, or now testing things like quantum computing. Oh my God, how does Java help address that? Well, we're not, again, trying to be the best in one thing. We're trying to solve the problems and the challenges that that development type requires to do that type of application. And then more recently is predictability. You know, we used to have this commitment of trying to release Java every 2 years, and we fell into a pattern of maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4. And the pace of innovation around us is moving so fast that that did not work. It did not work. By the time we had a major release come out, you've missed that opportunity to take advantage of all the features within that release. Some of you might remember Java 8. It had over 96 features, but it took 3 years to get from Java 7 to Java 8. That's a 3-year gap, and while major releases are great and we call them revolutionary, they are also big bang moments, and big bangs cause disruption. Enterprises take a lot of time to try to take advantage of how do I use all of these features, and since we've introduced the 6-month release cadence, it makes Java that much more approachable. Now, we're not trying to push in the same volume of features every 6 months. This isn't about throughput. This is about reducing latency to innovation, and so that incremental delivery every 6 months gives you a heartbeat. You know, there's a great analogy about this, which is, I'm sure all of you, if you're especially based in Europe, have taken a train. Now, if your train only comes every 3 days, you're going to do everything you can to make that train, because if you miss it, you're going to have to wait a long duration before the next one comes along. But what if that train came every 3 minutes? If you miss one, the impact isn't as severe because you know there's one just around the corner. So if you're not ready for Java 21, 22 will be in March. If you're not ready for Java 22, Java 23 will be in September. There's something you can pick up, and you get all the benefits of the releases that have been preceded by that specific release. But this is where there's an important turn. Those same principles in terms of how we design and build the language and the platform are the very same principles we apply to how we drive the community forward. Does anyone, just show of hands, have heard the Hollywood line, "Build it and they will come"? Build it and they will come, right? I think it's a fascinating line, and it worked great in the movie. And if you haven't seen Field of Dreams, I encourage you, well, regardless if you like baseball or not, it's a baseball movie. But that line only works in Hollywood. It doesn't work. It works on the big screen, but it doesn't work in real life. Just building something doesn't create gravity. What has given Java life? It's you. It's the community. That's literally how I started. I was just a very low-level developer at Verizon back in the mid-90s, trying to understand what is going to allow us to have ubiquity across all the types of development applications that we had to build within our enterprise. And it was spaghetti code across different languages. And my manager tapped me on the shoulder and said, you know what, we need to go to this conference called Java 1. Like, coffee? Like, conference on coffee. Sign me up. It's going to allow me to do my job better. And that fundamentally changed my career. It allowed me to connect because Sun realized at that time, how do we drive adoption? We create user groups. We create opportunities for collective sharing of knowledge and use cases and best practices. And that put me on the path. And lo and behold, Sun decided to bring my skills in-house. I'm pinching myself to this day. I'm surrounded by some of the best development and talented developers on the planet, and it is a humbling experience. And it has also brought me connected and closer to all of you. And so it's important we carry forward that principle of community. And so what do we do on our DevRel team? We focus on learn, share, and contribute. We need to make sure we have programs in place that map to these core pillars of community. Community isn't just about going to a conference and meeting. That's part of it. That's important. It's not about just going to a meetup. It's not about just contributing code. It's not about just participating. helping in the design decisions. It's all of that. And just as we innovate the language and the platform, we also have to innovate the mechanisms that we reach out to you. And so I'm going to give you a kind of a journey of all of the programs that are important that I hope you will find interesting and perhaps you will participate in at some point. And if you're already participating, let me know how I can help you make it better. That is literally my responsibility. What is my job charter? Grow and nurture the Java community. That's it. And now I just got to go figure out how to do all of that. And that's where all of these programs come from. Not just for me, but the team I'm on. So the first one is the OpenJDK project. Now, let's be realistic. I know all of you have your day jobs to do. You have your blinders on. You have to focus at the task at hand. You're being measured on your performance. How productive are you? But it's also important to understand what is in the pipeline of innovation. You know, oftentimes we get the question, what's your secret sauce? What is the magic? And there is no magic. There is no trick. There's no card up our sleeves. We do all of our development transparently in the OpenJDK project. And that means those projects that interest you, you have the ability to get that information ahead of time before it becomes finalized. You can join the mail lists. You can understand what decisions were made. Or more importantly, what decisions were not made. You can look at our code check-ins. That gives you an opportunity to have an edge before you can utilize a specific feature when that becomes generally available. And so I encourage you, please sign up for the mail lists, find the projects that you're most interested in, and then just take the time, because we all have to invest in ourselves. You know, my father has a great line, and I use it to this day, and I'm sure he'd appreciate it and come in here and say, "I told you so, Shar," which is, you know less than you know. And I love that line. You know less than you know. Every day is an opportunity to learn something new. We just need to take the time to do it. And one of the best ways for you to do that in the OpenJDK project is to please join those mailing lists. But OpenJDK is more than just reading information. It's about participation. Now, if you want to get a bit more edgy, we invite you to participate to shape in that future. We have different commitment roles that allow you to play a hand and a role in shaping that technical innovation. Now, this isn't for everyone, we understand, but some of you have a single purpose in terms of what Java means to you, and we will welcome you into that collective. This isn't just one entity, one company deciding the future of Java. It's individuals like you. And so, if you have not read our launch blogs, for every release of Java, we celebrate and honor those that have contributed to the release, both companies and individuals. It's important we highlight that. It demonstrates that this isn't just being done in an isolated state by a collective group of people that have walls and barriers. Your peers have shaped every single release. So if you have not seen the blog for Java 21, just type in Java 21 blog, you'll be able to find out and see all those individuals and companies that have contributed to the success of that specific release. Now, it's also important to understand that there are some foundational programs that has given life to our community. Now, going back to my father, he always told me, for a strong tree, you need to have strong roots. And these programs are the roots of all of our community programs. It's important that we continue to nurture these. And I'll be honest, there were years where there was languish. Many of you directly contacted us and directly contacted me. You are not doing enough to nurture these roots. But we need to re-earn your trust. We're rewatering these roots to ensure they stay stable. And I'm just going to go through a few of these programs. If you're not familiar with the Java community process, this is a specification body for Java to ensure that all versions of Java are indemnified and look the same, regardless of which distribution you use. You're welcome to participate in that. Are there any Java champions in this room? I know there are a couple. Please stand up. I'd like to recognize you. Can we give them a round of applause? All right, stay standing up. Java champions are independent Java experts that go around the world advocating to use Java in different ways. Their skill sets, their use cases, their best practices get adopted by all of you in some way, shape, or form, or by your company. They represent that independent voice away from the Java team and away from Oracle. And in fact, we want that. We want them to test us. We want them to question us. We want them to critique us. Because it's great to get the accolades, don't get me wrong. It makes me feel great, but I don't know what I don't know, going back to my father's mantra. And these individuals keep us honest. So to everyone who's standing, thank you very much. We need more of them. We need more of them. So if you're interested in becoming a Java champion, the luminaries of luminaries, connect with one of these individuals. Demonstrate your portfolio, and perhaps they'll nominate you to become part of the program. Remember what I just said. They will nominate you. We have no say in it. Oracle has no say in it. The Java team has no say in it. The members get to decide who becomes part of this esteemed collective. That's an important dimension. That keeps that independent component as part of this amazing program. So thank you. Java user groups, show of hands. Who is not part of a Java user group? Is not. Okay, not too many. We need to change that. This is actually how I started in terms of understanding what Java could do for me. Does anyone know, if you know what it is, just raise your hand, I'm just curious. Does anyone know the very first Java user group, what city it was in and what its name was? If you know what it is, raise your hand. Anyone? No? Okay. 1996, the New York Java Special Interest Group, and it is still in existence today. And I had the opportunity to go to a session, and that was literally my journey into all of the things that Java can do. And you should definitely explore it. For those that didn't raise their hands, I'm sure your peers can tell you and attest to just how important it can be. There's almost 400 Java user groups across the planet. I hope we can form one in Antarctica one day. There isn't one there yet. But you have so much ability to tap into the knowledge that's local to you. And now that we've moved into this digital world, you can connect with Java user groups online as well. Very important to mention. The last area is something I'm very critical about, and I'm failing. I'm failing. I need to get better at this. My peers need to get better at this. And you can actually see it in this room right now. J-Duchess, something very dear to my heart. This room still does not demonstrate even a 40-60 ratio of gender diversity, and we are failing. We need to make sure that the path of Java is open to everyone, regardless of how you identify, regardless of what your gender is. We need to change the balance, because as we expand the circle, we get better mindshare, and with better mindshare, we get better ideas, and from better ideas, we make Java better together. So this is incumbent on me, but this is also incumbent on some of my Java champions. We need to just make this better. Now, the world has changed. Like, it's great to have foundational programs that are the root that hold everything together. But the reality is we live in a digital world. We absolutely live in a digital world. With 10 million developers, which, by the way, the population, I believe, of Belgium is 10 million or close to that. That's the size of the Java community. I can't fathom that the community is almost the same population size of a country. That's phenomenal. And that means there are tens of thousands of modalities in terms of how you want to be reached. It's important we create those modalities that allow us to connect with you with our information. And these are a few of our programs. If you don't know about these, please explore it. We have content in digital format, both in long form and short form. No, we're not on TikTok yet. I'm resisting that as much as I can, but maybe there will be a day where we create an official Java account on TikTok. But we're very serious about this because going back to the learning principle, learn. We have to make sure we have information for you that's relevant, that's current, that meets your level, whether you're beginner, intermediate, or advanced. We need to also explore things that are not always so obvious. And two of my favorite programs that are on here one is called JEP Cafe. So if you don't know what JEP is JDK Enhancement Proposal. Those are the features that go into every release that are considered major. And JEP Cafe gives an exploration into what that feature is in a very short digested form, along with information as far as where to get the deep dive. The second one is Sip of Java. If you don't know Billy Corando, he's one of the most charismatic Java advocates at Oracle. His passion is shown through this specific digital channel. It's a 1-minute segment into the lesser-known areas of every Java release. So as much as we talk about the JEPs, there's thousands of performance, stability, and security enhancements in every release, and what Billy tries to do is surface what that is, because at the end of the day, those are things that will make you more productive. So quick 1-minute segments, I encourage you to take a look at this. In fact, you can find all of this at our official YouTube Java page, all curated and organized by program type. There's something missing, which we've reintroduced just a couple of years ago. How many of you are familiar with java.sun.com? Yeah, I dearly miss that portal. It was the place to get all information around Java. Blueprints, specs, downloads, learning information, community information. And it's unfortunate we let that wane away and almost disappear. And in a way to sort of rise the phoenix from the ashes, we launched Dev.java just a couple of years ago. Now what we're trying to do is emulate the best practices of the past, but also shape it for the future. So again, this is where all our learning content is. This is also where all our community content is. So if you're looking for those user groups, you just click on the community tab. You can explore those almost 400 Java user groups. You can find out who those Java champions are to make connections with. You can find details on our Java Day program if people don't realize what that is. It's a one-day event that we try to hold and partner with user groups with curated content with specific features from a current or previous release. We want to expose that to you. We want to bring that to you. We also have inside.java. And this is something that the community asked for. Shar, dev team at Oracle from the Java organization. You have so many engineers that are publishing information. How do we get access to all of that in a way that's structured? Inside.java is an aggregation of all the publications, all the writings, all the recordings coming from people like Brian Getz and Stuart Marks and Per Mirmborg and others, digested by topic, by individual, that allows you to explore that. Because some of us, we have our needs, we have our lane we want to stay in and explore that. We need to provide these assets to you and these channels to you. And I'm sure you're probably saying, but that's so many channels. It is. But we need them because all of you have different preferences and styles in terms of how you want to be reached. At the bare minimum, please bookmark dev.java. That is your collection and starting point for everything that I've talked about so far. Now, as much as we want to talk about Java and shape its future, we also want to start now reflecting the community. All of you have expertise. All of you have ideas in terms of best practices and use cases, and we need to surface that. So this past September, on the day we launched Java 21, we also launched our community contributions to dev.java, and here you see 4 of our initial publishers. And some of them were here this week. Venkat Subramaniam, a Java champion. Heinz Kibbutz, also Java champion. Jean Boyarsky, who has a great publication on how to become a more qualified Java developer through the Java certification program. She's not here, but back in New York. And then Kai Horstman, I'm sure many of you are familiar with his publications, also another Java champion. Their content is going to reside on dev.java. And we want to feature as many of you in the community that have quality content to share with the rest of the Java world. We're going to be doing pull requests through GitHub for all of this. We'll go through a security evaluation, quality evaluation, and then we'll get this published. But again, we want to, have a mechanism to feature you because you are also a face to the program. Also announced with Java 21 in September, we also launched the Java Playground, browser-based mechanism to start utilizing Java in very lightweight fashion. And this is part of our on-ramp. Like, we're talking about the next generation of developers behind us. They need an easy way to sometimes learn the information and the technology and the platform that we continue to deliver. And this is one mechanism to do that. The advantage is we get to start populating code snippets into the tools so you can actually see what a specific feature is going to do before you actually use it. And this can accelerate the adoption of a specific feature. For example, we'll have code snippets on virtual threads coming from Project Loom. How do I take advantage of it? When should I be using it? What will that look like when I run the application? And we're going to try and continue to cultivate and grow the functionality within the Java playground, and I'm looking forward to seeing this grow. And again, this is actually coming from a request from you, the community. We are listening. Now, I was going to stop here, but it's important to also celebrate all of the conferences around the world. Now, this isn't all of them. We track 72 Java conferences on our team. That's a lot of events. But these are a few just in your backyard. And it's important we say thank you to these organizers, folks like Stefan Janssen, who runs DevOps and has now expanded DevOps to other regions and geographies. But there's other events out there. DevNexus in Atlanta, Java Zone in Oslo, Norway, JFocus in Sweden, Javaland, or did I say it right? Because I've heard Javaland, but some folks call it Javaland, in Germany. These are the places where you can not just go for content, but to have those hallway track conversations. And I encourage you, if you're able to attend these events, I know we can't all attend 72 events, that's not realistic, but if you can find the time, please do, because that's where you're going to have the meeting of the minds of some of the most brightest people on the planet. Which, by the way, DevOps Morocco is next week. I will be there. I'll be doing a keynote there next week. If any of you are coming, I'm looking forward to seeing you there as well. They are celebrating their 10th anniversary, which is fantastic. And then lastly, I'm going to close with user groups. I always like anchoring with this because this is the place where you can get information most readily. If you're not a member, and I saw a few of those hands, please find one. If you want to talk after this session, I'm happy to explore and help you set up making those connections. But more importantly, if you want to start a Java user group, we're also here to help with ideas, with best practices, what it takes, what should it look like. And remember, not every Java user group should be looking the same. Some are much more formal, others are casual. There is no right or wrong answer. The user group is meant to reflect the collection of developers that are around that region, around that area, around that city in terms of the topics that they want to surface and raise. So I'm going to stop there. Some URLs, again, for you to take advantage of. I'm going to just look here quickly on Twitter. If my phone is my phone still working? Let's see here. And Spooky Java. Let's see. Spooky Java. I'm sorry, Spooky Duke. Spooky Duke. Yeah. See, this is what happens when you stay out till 4 in the morning, right? Shame on Shar. So, what's that?
Is that your new TikTok username, Shar?
I don't know how to answer that. That's Sean Phillips, everyone. If you don't know who Sean Phillips is, one of the brightest minds when it comes to using Java and JavaFX. I encourage you to go back and watch his session from this week on Trinity. I got to see him do a keynote at DevNexus on that project. It is mind-blasting. So you may have called out a bit of pun on me, but I'm calling you out because you're talented. You are an amazing individual. You absolutely are. Okay, so who's going to get a Java coin? Oh, this is a handle, H201? H201?
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay. And the second one is UA. So the handle is YOUUBSS? Ubis?
Yep.
You here? Okay. Come on down. And like I said, please don't spend it all in one place.
Yep.
In fact, don't spend it all. With that, thank you so much. I wanted to give you a little bit of time before the next session because Brian's session on what's new in Java 21 is around the corner, and I want everyone to get a seat in that because I think he's oversubscribed, and this gives you a chance to just get a bit of a break before that. So thank you for your time. I hope this was useful. If you need to contact me, please do. I'm here to help you. I really am. So thank you.